Good day to you, students. Today is Wednesday, November 4th, 2020. This is Ms. Phillips bringing you your reading workshop lesson for today. The materials you're going to need for today's lesson are your pencil, your reading journal, and a copy of Big Talkers, which I will provide here, and also there will be a link in the framework and Google Classroom. I want you to go ahead, pause the video now, and collect these supplies. Come back when you're ready. Okay, now that you're back, let's get started. Today's objectives are: I will explain how big ideas can be found or supported by supporting details. We will recognize big ideas and details from the text, and you will read and recognize big ideas, details, and show your responses to a text through the use of a TDR form. Today, I want to share with you an article. This article is about elephants and is called Big Talkers. The title is an inferential title. This means that we must infer or think using clues to find out what the title or story may be about. I bet that the title is about the elephant's communication. We've been talking for some time now about how hard it can be to pick out the bigger ideas when we read nonfiction. Sometimes the details, sometimes the details can be interesting but isolated facts that actually distract us from understanding. So we need to separate those interesting, isolated details from the supporting ones, which build our knowledge about a topic. As readers, we can think about and combine the supporting details to grasp a better understanding of a larger topic. Today, I have a think sheet that is called Topic Detail Response, or TDR form, which can help us organize the information to come up with the bigger, more important ideas. We can write the big ideas in the topic column and the supporting details in the detail column here. And as always, since your thinking is so important, there's a column for your responses. These can include connections, new learning, questions, or reactions to the text. As you practice using this form, think about how you sift ideas, big ideas, from the details. It's almost as if you're using a sifter to separate big rocks and sand. I want you to think about how you sift the big ideas from the details and how the details come together to give us more information about the larger topics. Take some time now to copy this form into your writing notebook. Pause to do this and then press play whenever you get finished. Okay, thanks for joining me again. Now that you have copied down this form, I want you to pay attention as I read the article. I'm going to model how I sift the topic from the supporting details. I'm thinking from the inferential title, Big Talkers, that this article is about elephant communication. So it's likely that each section will have some information related to elephant communication. As I model my thinking and write down the topic, details, and responses on the chart, you can do the same on your form. After I've modeled, you will have a chance to try it on your own. First of all, I'm going to read this inside title on page 2 for you guys, or 59. Big Talkers. Earth's largest land animals have a lot to say, even when they don't seem to be making a sound. Now that's interesting. It seems to be saying that the elephants can communicate without making any noise. I'm going to go ahead and read this first section. Thirsty and hot. 12 elephants plod across the fried African landscape. The water hole is less than a mile away now, and everyone in the herd is looking forward to a good long drink. Tired calves want to stop, but mothers and aunts nudge them along. The older animals make soft, soothing noises. We're almost there, they seem to say. Just keep walking. Suddenly, everyone stops. Huge ears stretch out like satellite dishes. After a minute or two of what seems like silence, the animals turn and walk away from the waterhole. Fast. As they go, the adults huddle close to the calves. So, what happened? Why did the elephants change their course? They seemed to be listening to something. Whatever it was, they got the message to flee. Yet human ears heard nothing. Elephants make plenty of sounds that humans can hear, such as barks, snorts, roars, and trumpet like calls. Often a herd will use those sounds to talk to other elephants, but they weren't in the air this time. Oh, this is so interesting. These elephants were headed in one direction and then switched course for some reason. They got the message to get out of there, but the article says human ears couldn't have heard it. They were making noise, but we just couldn't hear it. How do you think this happened? Any ideas? Take a moment now to think or write down on a different free sheet of paper what you think. Then come back. Okay, did you have any ideas? Some of you may have thought that it was like a dog whistle. When you blow it, the dog hears it, but you can't hear it. If you thought this is a great connection. It could be very well like a dog whistle. I'm going to read a bit of this next section and maybe we'll find out. The subhead says second language. I'm inferring that this is going to be about some sort of communication that elephants have, a second language of communication. Second language. For years, elephants puzzled observers with this type of behavior, but now scientists have solved the mystery. They discovered that elephants have a secret language for communicating over long distances. This special talk is based on infrasound, sounds so low in pitch that humans can't hear them. That is so interesting. How interesting is that? We were right on the target. Like dogs, elephants can hear sounds we can't hear. Okay, so I'm thinking the big idea or topic here is infrasound, which is a secret language that elephants have to communicate. So I will write that in the detail column of my TDR chart. Notice how it supports the bigger idea of infrasound. Sorry guys, I wrote it in the topic area of my anchor chart, my TDR chart. This is because infrasound, in my opinion, and what I've learned from the text, is the topic of the text. So I wrote it down in the topic column. I'm inferring that much of this section will be about infrasound, since the sections have the subhead a second language. Remember, a detail that relates to the topic of infrasound is the idea that pitch is so low that humans can't hear the communication. So I will write that down in the detail column, right? That is a detail that supports the topic. Too low for humans to hear. Travels as much as several miles. Notice how it supports the bigger idea of infrasound. And let's not forget to write down the connection that we made earlier about dog whistles in the response column. I'll read on and see if I can find some additional details that relate to the topic infrasound. The sounds can travel several miles, allowing the 6-ton animals to keep in touch across grasslands and forests in Africa or Asia. There's an intriguing detail that relates to the secret infrasound language. Infrasound travels as far as several miles. Whoa, that's a long way. I'm going to jot that down in the detail column here. Travel as much as several miles. It isn't a huge idea, but rather a detail that relates to the bigger idea or the topic. Did you notice that I don't write sentences, not full sentences, but just a few words in the detail column? That is what we try to do on this form. It should be short and quick so that you can go back and take a look at the form and you can quickly remember the information that you've read. This infrasound really amazes me. I've never heard of it before. Several miles is a long way for elephants to be able to hear each other. I went ahead and jotted this idea down in the response column. Amazing. That's a long way to be able to hear each other. Do you see what I did there? I wrote the main topic or idea for the text. Then I wrote the supporting details in the detail column. And then I also wrote my responses to the text that I read. Now that you've seen me do this, it's your turn to try. Read the next couple of paragraphs on your own. Pay close attention for details that relate to the big idea of infrasound. Make sure you write down your responses and any details that you notice to support the bigger idea in your chart. Also answer these questions. Was the topic still infrasound, or did the topic change? If so, were there more details? Add more details and responses to your chart and turn it into your teacher how you've been instructed. Thank you for joining me today.